Hi, I'm Betty. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making my favorite lasagna. It's a little different from the one that you may be used to in that it uses no ricotta and no mozzarella. Instead, we're going to be using a Parmesan flavored cream sauce. So join me at the stove while I start the cream sauce. In my sauce pot, I have melted 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to stir this and cook it for a couple of minutes to remove any floury taste. That's very important when you're making any kind of cream sauce. Omitting this step can result in a sauce that is overwhelmingly flavored with raw flour. Not something you really want. Alright, the butter and flour have cooked for a few minutes and they're just starting to smell fragrant, which is a good indication you've reached the right point. I'm now going to start adding 2 cups of milk, and the first addition will be relatively small. Stir that till it's smooth, and we can add some more. You want to stir fairly vigorously to make sure there are no lumps. And just keep adding, about a half cup or so at a time. I've added the 2 cups of milk, and as you can see, the sauce is perfectly smooth. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of heavy cream. Just give that a stir. And I'm going to let this come to a boil and then allow it to cook for about 3 minutes. My sauce has finished cooking on the stove, and now I'm going to finish it off with a teaspoon of salt, a few gratings of fresh nutmeg, just about like so. Give that a stir. Now I have here 4 ounces of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to stir in about half of that into this sauce. And that's melted in very quickly. Okay, now we're about ready to start assembling our lasagna. The next thing I'm going to do, and you can see I've already done some, are slice some of the meatballs. Now to make this recipe, you'll first need to make my recipe for spaghetti sauce with meatballs. And I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to use about 8 of these in this lasagna, and I'm cutting each one into about 5 slices, about a 1/4 inch thick. The brand of lasagna noodles I recommend are Barilla No Cook. I have found these are the closest thing to homemade pasta sheets on the market. They really are quite wonderful. So let's proceed. We're going to put about a half cup of tomato sauce, and this is the sauce from the spaghetti sauce and meatball recipe. Spread that in the bottom of our pan. You might need just a tad more there. I'm going to follow that with about a half cup of the cream sauce. Just drizzle that over so it covers fairly well. As I said, this recipe is quite different than the original one I used to make with the ricotta and mozzarella cheeses. And we have really come to prefer this one. These fit just about exactly in my dish. So now I'm going to do a second layer of tomato sauce. Spread that out a little. Followed by another half cup of our cream sauce, which has all those lovely flavors of nutmeg and Parmesan in it. And now I'm going to do a layer of meatballs. Okay, get a trusty paper towel out in my hands. And we'll add a second layer of noodles. I'm going to repeat these layers 2 more times to finish the lasagna. I've completed the last layer, and I'm giving this a really good sprinkle of grated Parmesan. I'm going to add the final layer of noodles. And I'm adding an extra one on top because the dish flares out a little bit and it's just a little bigger on top than it is at the bottom. I'll spread the last of our sauce on this. So all in all, I've probably used 2.5 to 3 cups of the tomato sauce for this. You want to make sure, particularly on the top layer, that you've got every corner of the pasta covered with sauce. And as you can see, I'm using a half cup measure to both spoon it out and help spread the sauce. I do want that really out to the corners of that. All right, we're ready for the final addition of cream sauce. Be quite generous with this final layer. Pay particular attention to the edges. Make sure they're covered. And we'll give this a final sprinkle of Parmesan. Now at this point, you can either put it in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 hours or bake it immediately at 350 for 30 minutes or until it's bubbling. But as I said, it can stay in the refrigerator. You can make it in the morning and cook it for dinner. Once you've baked it, you do want it to rest for about 15 minutes before cutting it. Might as well just finish this up since there's really no such thing as too much Parmesan. 30 minutes have passed and my lasagna is bubbling merrily away. It's time to take it out. And I'm going to let it rest for about 15 minutes before I serve it. I'm sure you'll enjoy this. Do give it a try. And check my website for other recipes.